Just a year later, the Kerr Center for Sustainable Agriculture came into the picture. Located in Poto, Oklahoma, the Kerr Center is a nonprofit organization founded by the family of the late Senator Robert S. Kerr. The Kerr Center partnered with the Overstreet Short Mountain Foundation to open the facility as a historical farm. They began renovating the house and tracking down the furnishings. Approximately 30% of the Overstreet furniture was recovered. Nearly all of the home's woodwork is original. 3 carpenters worked full-time for 2 years to restore the home. The Kerr Center combined the style of the Southern plantation home and the Oklahoma farm home to make it appealing to visitors. So the home you see is more lavishly decorated than it would have been 100 years ago, although the Overstreets did decorate the house nicely. After years of work and planning, the Overstreet Kerr Historical Farm opened to the public in 1991. The Kerr Center for Sustainable Agriculture offers progressive leadership and educational programs to all those interested in making farming and ranching environmentally friendly, socially equitable, and economically viable over the long term. One way the Kerr Center carries out its mission is to invite youth and adults to the farm so they can learn about a forgotten way of life that took place more than a century ago. Now, let's get started on our tour. This was Tom's office, and the children did their homework here. The table and 4 chairs are original pieces. We now use this room as our library. The home was heated by 4 fireplaces and a wood-burning cook stove in the kitchen. Each of the 4 fireplaces are complete with its rock design, mantel, and mirror. The bulb that hangs above each fireplace is a late 19th century version of a fire extinguisher. Here's how it was supposed to work. If a fire got out of control, the heat would melt a thin piece of lead at the bottom of the bulb, causing the bulb to break and the chemical, known as carbon tetrachloride, to smother the fire. This contraption was commonly used in those days, but it didn't make the family any safer. It was later discovered that the chemical was a greater potential danger than the fire itself. When the chemical reacted with the fire, the heat produced a toxic gas, phosgene or nerve gas, which is just as deadly as the fire. We can be thankful for today's modern fire extinguishers. Here is the parlor where adults would visit after a Sunday dinner. Children weren't allowed in this room. In those days, children were meant to be seen, not heard, and they had to respect the wishes of the adults. The pink matching chairs in the window are original, and the other furniture is from the same time period. The door to the right of the fireplace leads to a closet. Now, closets were rare in homes of this age because the owner was taxed according to the number of rooms in the house, and a closet counted as a room. But Tom was included on the Choctaw census and was exempt from regular government taxes, so he had as many closets as he wanted. Ordinarily, people hung their clothes in a large piece of furniture called a chifforobe or armoire. This is the original staircase as it looked when the house was new. Over the next 100 years, the beautiful wood carving had been gradually covered over by several thick coats of white lead paint, which had to be stripped off during the renovation. Now we're on the 2nd floor. Here is a child's bedroom. All the children slept upstairs, and the adult bedrooms were downstairs. The bedroom set, the French painting from the late 1800s, and the clock on the dresser, as well as other items, were all donated by Kay Adair and the Kerr family. Kay is the daughter of the late Senator Robert S. Kerr from Oklahoma. She is also a lifetime trustee of the Kerr Center. The mannequin in the corner shows the type of clothing that women wore about 100 years ago. The ceiling light is original and burned carbide gas, which the Overstreets produced in their basement. The sofa is not an original piece, but it has a colorful name, a fainting sofa. Back then, women wore corsets that were pulled extremely tight to achieve the ideal hourglass silhouette. Imagine what it took to shrink to a 17-inch waist. Wearing a corset this tight sharply reduced blood circulation, and women became lightheaded. The fainting sofa provided a place for a woman to regain her composure. This was a child's bedroom. After the renovation of the home, this was a guest room for a bed and breakfast inn that we operated for 4 years. The queen-sized bed you see is not an original piece and is considerably larger than the beds of a century ago. Back then, beds were 2 inches shorter and 2 inches more narrow than a modern full-sized bed. We brought in this larger bed and put in the wall-to-wall carpet for the comfort of our guests. We've now discontinued the bed and breakfast so we can offer more educational tours of the farm. This was also a child's bedroom, and all the furniture is original. Here is the nanny's bedroom. This room is now used for educational activities and exhibits of quilts and paintings. The room in the back was a nursery. We converted this room to an upstairs sitting room and bathroom. This